Okay, so this video for the Nashorn tank destroyer covers the detailing for the rear hull. And we're going to start out by, well, first actually, you should make some little crescent shapes like this. And how I make these is I take a 3-hole punch and I just kind of munch along with the 3-hole punch some cardboard and just move the cardboard like a millimeter or something like that and take another bite. And you make a bunch of little crescent shapes. Some will be fat like this, that's not good, and some will be thin like this. Just going to make one of those like that for each vehicle, and that will serve as a tow hook. So once you've got that made, I recommend, you can see how I've got these sitting in a mini clothespin. I've sort of infused them with glue just to make them harder and tougher so that they don't collapse during the next operation. So once you've got those done, and I did both sides, so I flipped them over and did the other side again, you want to see these marks on the back of the hull. You want to sort of stick a utility knife in there and just dig yourself a little bit of a wedge. Oops, that's just a paper. And do that on both sides. You might even enlarge it with like some scissors or something just to make sure that you're going to be able to fit these in there. And, oh, here it is. Take a scraper blade and just cut this in half right in the middle. So those tow hooks are ready to go, but actually that's going to be one of the last pieces that we install on the rear here. I've also got a couple of 12-ring caps here, and what I've done is cut them free of the ring and then take off really carefully the ring and any flashing. And then I cut about 1/3 to 1/2, as long as it's the same amount off the cap, and just place it on the table and make sure that it sits flat, rather so that you've taken an equal amount of the ring off. You may have to trim it down. And make 2 of those and try to make them about the same height, so put them next to the table by each other, and if one needs to be trimmed down to match the other one, do so. So you're going to need 2 of those. And these parts from the template, the final parts, look like this. And what I've done to make this part is I just cut the piece between them out, and I made it a little bit thinner than that, or about the same width actually. So you want to attach these together into one piece. So this part provides a bit of a gap between the 2 other parts. So when you're done, you'll have a part that looks kind of like that, with the two larger parts glued to the smaller part in between them, like an Oreo. So make that piece, and then we can go ahead and install that. Now, if you haven't cut off this entire blue symbol, that blue symbol tells you where to go, but just basically on the bottom and the center of the hull back. And glue it edge on. You may want to let it dry before gluing it there. I'm just going to push forward, but it's not really advisable. And try to get it nicely centered. Press it into place like so. Go in the other direction a little bit. Now try to judge that it's equally distanced between these two red symbols. Those red symbols are where we're going to attach the cap gun cap. Oh, we should probably do these tow hooks first, actually. So I would actually recommend using either tweezers or needle nose pliers to insert these, because it's pretty hard to get your hand in there. And the hook shape should move downward. So I just get them inserted, and then I'll add glue. So try to see that they're going to match okay. And the hook shape is going downward. And then just put glue around and into the little gap. And that should secure them in place. And you can adjust their side-to-side shape once they've glued in. I would just let them glue down, then adjust them if need be. The up-down shape you need to take care of now. And then put these spare wheels on, those red symbols. Okay, set that aside for a second while we make, I'm just going to show you how to make these pieces for the final detailing. Now I've got 4 0.5mm pencil leads, like they're the cheap ones. You're basically unusable in a mechanical pencil, they just snap. But they're, like at dollar stores you can usually find like a large amount of them for pretty cheap. And they're optimal for this job. What you want to do is you want to cut 4 of them. Basically I'll cut one at 18 mils, and then I'll just cut the other 3 to match it, because it's a lot easier to cut it that way. So cut one, and basically you just place your thing, your scraper blade, and snap it. And then cut 3 more to match it as closely as you can to its size. And then cut 2 more little pieces. Once you've got these laid out like this, cut 2 more little pieces that are just a tiny bit longer than the 4 of them lined up. So about 1 millimeter longer. Oop, it went flying. Oh, here it goes. Then where they line up. So once you've got those 6 pieces cut, I'm going to install those right under the doors. So just take some, I would actually recommend using straight glue for this. I actually like to move them around with a scraper blade, because it's a little bit easier to line them up nicely, lengthwise, and try to split the difference. Like there will be tiny length differences. It's easy to kind of use your scraper blade to split the difference on both sides. So it isn't terribly obvious that there's a length difference. And then we're going to install those two little short pieces on the ends with the overlap toward the top. Like so. And that gives you the detailing for the rear of the Nashorn tank destroyer. Hope you liked this video, and hope you'll visit the website and download paper model ideas or anything that you suggest that I can do better. Would be great if you could let us know. Thanks for watching. See you soon.